They call them death worlds. Planets so hostile, so utterly murderous, that the simple act of living is a constant, desperate act of defiance. To most of the sprawling Imperium of Man, these worlds are cursed, godless hells, best forgotten or simply marked for orbital bombardment. But to the hardened souls born upon them, they are home. From the suffocating, carnivorous jungles of Catachan to the acid deserts of Luther McIntyre Ix, death worlds take the raw material of humanity and forge it into something harder than Ceramator. They shatter it completely. Imagine, for a moment, stepping onto a world where even the very air you breathe is actively trying to kill you. The soil is poisoned, the plants drip with neurotoxin, and the local wildlife, the animals are the size of main battle tanks, with appetites to match. Every single heartbeat is a victory in a war against extinction. The weak don't last an hour. The strong, well, they might not last much longer. Let's take a look at Catachan, the most infamous and celebrated death world in all of Imperial record. This isn't just a jungle. It's a living, breathing predator. The trees are said to move when you're not looking. The vines, like pythons of bark and leaf, will silently strangle you in your sleep. Insects, the size of a man's fist, inject flesh-melting acid. Rivers are indeed filled with water so much as with creatures that can swallow a person whole without even slowing down. Even the ground itself can be a trap, a latticework of hungry roots that can suddenly open up, dragging the careless and the unlucky down into a subterranean grave. And yet, people live there. They endure, but not by conquering nature. That would be impossible. They survive it. Every Catachan child learns to walk with a knife in one hand and a means to make fire in the other. They don't farm the land. They hunt its monstrous inhabitant. They don't pray for mercy from the heavens. They earn their survival, one bloody kill at a time. This brutal existence shapes them into the galaxy's ultimate survivors. The Imperium, in its cold, pragmatic calculus, sees these people not as victims of a hostile planet, but as a resource, a weapon. From these worlds of endless torment, they harvest soldiers already hardened by an impossible existence. Death world regiments are prized across the galaxy. They are brutal, cunning, and seemingly unbreakable. To the generals of the Astra Militarum, they are the perfect soldiers. Tu tem serves. They are simply survivors. But even among these legendary warriors, few can truly articulate the cost of living on such worlds. You don't grow old on a death world. You don't have the luxury of building grand cities, or writing poetry, or debating philosophy. You learn how to die well, and you hope your body isn't devoured before it has a chance to cool. There's a grim saying that circulates among deathworlders. If it breathes, it kills. If it moves, it hunts. If it's still, it's already dead. Everyone. And some worlds are so much worse than others. Consider Luther McIntyre. Ixa, desolate wasteland of shifting glass dunes, where silica storms can cut through power armor like it's paper. Or the infamous world of Krieg, a planet so determined to defy its imperial masters that it bathed itself in atomic fire, turning its own atmosphere to poison and its soil to radioactive ash. And still, humanity refused to die, giving rise to the somber, gas-masked soldiers of the Death Corps. Then there is Fenris, the frozen hell world of the space wolves. A planet of fire and ice where continent-sized krakens swim beneath the frozen seas, and volcanoes burn beneath your feet. Every one of these worlds breaks something fundamental inside the people who live there. But in its place, it forges something new, something terrifyingly strong. You see, on a death world, the concept of civilization is redefined. It isn't measured in towering spires or grand temples. It's measured in how long your tribe can survive before the jungle reclaims your settlement. It's measured in how far you can run before the toxic spores choke your lungs. It is measured in how many nights you can sleep without something slithering into your tent to feed on you. To an outsider, it's sheer madness. To the Imperium, it's an opportunity. To the Emperor's generals, death worlds are the breeding grounds for legends. The soldiers of Catachan are the children of a living nightmare, wielding massive knives and flamethrowers with an instinctual skill that is nothing short of terrifying. They famously don't wear much armor. They don't need it. They trust their instincts far more than any piece of plasteel. For them, a battlefield teeming with orcs, chaos, demons, or tyranid swarms is nothing new. It's just another hostile ecosystem to survive. Another day at the office. But it's crucial to remember, not all who live on death worlds are human. Some of these planets are the tombs of ancient Xenos species, now overrun by their own failed experiments or biological weapons. Others seem to be living entities themselves, feeding on the souls of any who dare set foot upon them. The Imperium keeps records highly classified, forbidden knowledge of worlds that have devoured entire colonization fleets. Worlds where the forests whisper to you in perfect high Gothic, and where the mountains literally bleed when you try to mine them. There's a dark theory that death worlds are not random accidents of geology or evolution, that the galaxy itself creates them, that they are scars left behind by the cosmic war in heaven, or places where the veil of reality is stretched so thin that the raw energy of chaos seeps through, corrupting everything it touches. Whatever their true origin, they serve as a constant, brutal reminder that the galaxy was never meant for mankind. It is, and always will be, a hostile place. And still, humanity endures. Because if there is one thing humanity does better than anything else, it is to endure. Deathworlders are not proud of their homeworlds. In fact, they hate them. They curse them with every breath. But deep down they understand a fundamental truth that no comfortable hive-dweller ever could. That true strength is born from suffering, and in a galaxy where gods and monsters wage a war that will never end, that strength is the only currency that truly matters. So when the Imperial Guard marches to war, and the banners of Catachan, or Krieg, or Fenris are raised high, the other regiments take a respectful step back. They know what those men and women have faced. They know that those soldiers were forged in places where every sunrise is a gamble, where every meal is a hunt, and where every single breath is a prayer. The Deathworlders don't talk much. They don't boast of their victories or complain about their wounds, because they've already seen the absolute worst the galaxy can throw at them. And they lived. When a Catachan fights, he fights like a man whose entire life has been a state of total war. Because, for him, it has, and when he finally falls, he dies as he lived. Defiant, unyielding, and surrounded by the bodies of his enemies. In the grim darkness of the far future, the galaxy is full of death. But on the death worlds of the Imperium, death is only the beginning. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy exploring the darkest corners of science fiction lore, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you and Ms. our next descent into the madness of the 41st millennium. See you next time.